Okay, let's go ahead and get started here. So welcome back to biocomputational modeling. So just a couple of quick reminders. I have been posting the lectures here on Blackboard. So in the last class, I demonstrated how to download and install the VPN, the virtual private network, and how to activate it, and then how to access the remote desktop on the computers in the John Bardow Center. So if you haven't had a chance to watch that, go ahead and watch that. Today we will be going over just doing a quick review of Solidworks. Okay, let me come here and remind you as well. I have posted the first homework assignment. Okay, so you'll need to download and install the VPN and launch the remote desktop, log into one of the machines remotely, and create a Solidworks part. And so this is the part right here. So this is just meant for brushing up on some basic SolidWorks skills to extrude, cut, smart dimension, and to fillet. So these are just some basic skills that I thought you should follow up in, and I thought today I would actually go through and show you how I would do this part. So today I'm going to do a quick example, and I also want to point out some resources available to you in SolidWorks in case you need to review more. I'll show you some of the training tutorials that are available there. Okay, so this is going to be the first homework assignment. I'm asking you to turn in a Word document, and I'm asking you to name the file name with your name, and then maybe homework 1. And in that Word document, I want you to have screenshots of your work. Okay, so I don't have any particular amount of screenshots. Just go ahead and show me several screenshots so I can tell that you did the work and that it's your work and not somebody else's work. And put it all in a Word document and go ahead and upload it here. So to upload it here, you'll click on this homework 1 link, and then you will browse your computer and upload your homework assignment. Now it's important that you double check what you upload. After you upload it, you should be able to double check. A couple of things I've noticed with this is that you do need to save and close the file before you upload it to Blackboard. Otherwise that can cause potential problems. Sometimes if you leave the file open and try to upload it, it won't upload properly, and it'll upload an empty document. It'll be 0 kilobytes. The size of the file will be 0 kilobytes. So please remember to save and close your document before you upload it to Blackboard, or before you submit it here to Blackboard. To submit it to Blackboard, you just press Browse My Computer, browse to the file, and then press Submit down here. After you submit the assignment, you should be able to see the submitted file. Double check the submitted file and make sure that you've submitted the correct assignment. Okay, so I'm just going to press cancel here because I'm not submitting one. So again, this is where you will submit the first homework assignment. Okay. All right. So like I said, today I'm going to demonstrate how I would make this part in SolidWorks. So I've gone here, I've already activated my VPN, and I've already logged into one of the computers remotely, and I've launched SolidWorks. So SolidWorks is here. Okay. And I'll go ahead and start with clicking on this new part. Oh, before I do that, I want to point out if you need additional review, there are tutorials here. If you expand this section here, or expand this little icon here, okay, and go to tutorials and click on tutorials, it'll bring up this SolidWorks tutorials, and I highly recommend doing lesson 1, lesson 2, and lesson 3. Lesson 1 will give you some review of the basics. Lesson 2 will give you some review of assemblies. It's a pretty good review. And lesson 3 will give you a review on how to make drawings. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close that. Again, if you need some additional review, I highly recommend these ones. Also, this basic training tab, if I click on the basic training tab here, these are really good reviews as well. This one covering revolves and sweeps is very helpful. This one covering lofts is very helpful. And I also really like this Assembly Mates tutorial. So these are some good tutorials for you to go over if you feel like you're needing an additional review of SolidWorks. You can go ahead and do those. I'm going to go ahead and close that for now. And I'm going to show you how I would make this part. Okay, so first thing is I click on New. And we're going to be making a new part. Okay, so I click on Part, press OK, and it'll set up the workspace for me to start building this part. You'll see on the left hand side I have my design tree. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and start building this. A good strategy is to pick a profile, draw the profile, and then extrude it. Okay, so I think the strategy I'll pick is I'm going to start with this top view. Okay, so I'm going to draw this profile, which is just going to be a rectangle. Okay, and then I'm going to extrude it up 3 inches. So then I'll just have a block, a rectangular block that's 3 inches. Sorry, it's not 3 inches tall. Yeah, 3 inches tall. Yes, 3 inches right here is how tall it is. This is the top view. This is how tall it is looking at it from the side. And then my next approach will be to cut out this step here. And I'll use the extrude cut to do that. So let me first start out by drawing this top view profile. So the strategy is to start out in 2D. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the top plane and I'm going to click sketch. So I right click top plane and click sketch. So this is going to, anything I draw on here is going to be put on this plane. Okay, so I'm going to select a rectangle. Okay, and then I'm going to click, hold my mouse, left mouse down and drag. So it's click and drag. Okay, and so I have the basic profile. And now I want to smart dimension it. So I click on smart dimension. Okay, and this thing is supposed to be, let's go back to the drawing and check how long it's supposed to be. From the top view and from the side view, I can see that this is supposed to be 8 inches long and it's supposed to be 3 inches wide. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make this 8 inches. So here in this text box, I'll just type in 8. My units are already set to 8 inches. So I'll press enter and it's going to make it 8 inches long. Now I'm going to click on this side here. I clicked on this line here and just move my mouse out. Clicked one more time right there, and this needs to be 3 inches wide, and I'll press enter. Okay, so now I have the basic profile of the top. Okay, that's this rectangle profile on top, and I've made it 8 inches by 3 inches. Now my next step would be to extrude it. Extruding it means to make it a volume, a 3D volume. Okay, so I'll go ahead and press this green check mark to close this. Okay, and I'm going to click on exit sketch. Okay, and now with sketch 1 highlighted, sketch 1 is this profile. With sketch 1 already selected, I'm going to click on the sketch tab, or sorry, the features tab, and I'm going to click on extrude. Now again, this is going to allow me to extrude this in volume and make it a 3D shape. Okay, and you can click on this vector arrow and drag up, and it'll start making that shape. But I want to make it exactly the height that it should be. So if I come over here from the side view, I can tell this is 3 inches tall. Okay, so I will just right here make it 3 inches tall. Okay, and that makes it 3 inches tall. I'm gonna recenter this, so using my mouse wheel, if I scroll up, it'll zoom in. If I scroll down, it'll zoom out. Okay, so if I have my part, if I'm zoomed in a little off center here, I'll just zoom out by scrolling down, and then hover over the part where I want to zoom in and scroll up. Okay, so you can kind of recenter it that way. You can also pan and zoom and things like that. But I'm happy with this view. It's 3 inches tall. Okay, and I'll go ahead and press OK to accept that. Now if I want to look at this a little bit closer, all I have to do is depress the mouse wheel, okay, and then drag my mouse around, and this allows me to rotate the geometry. Okay, so I can have a better look at the 3D geometry. All right, let's take a look at what the next step would be. So again, the next step would be to cut out this, my next step would be to cut out this little step here. Okay, from the side view, you can tell there's a step. Okay, now there are multiple ways to make this part. Your next step could be different. There's no set way. I'm just showing you how I would do it. Okay, so my next step would be to cut out this this little ledge here in the part. Okay, and I can see that step is 4.32 inches wide, and it goes all the way across the part. Okay, so it goes all the way across the part. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So from this top view, okay, or just rotating a little bit, I'm going to draw a profile here on top, and then I'm going to use the extrude cut feature to cut it out. Okay, so I'm going to click on sketch here, and right now I don't have any plane selected. Okay, because I'm going to select this face. I want to draw on this face, and it'll let me do that when I click on this sketch. And see, it's asking me here, since I didn't have any of the planes already selected, it's telling me to select a plane or select a face. You could even select an edge or something like that. So I'm going to select this face. Okay, so I click on this face. Now it's going anything I draw will be on this face. Okay, So I want to draw, again, the profile of that square that we're going to cut out. So I'm just going to hover over, so I want it to match up with this corner. Okay, so I hover over it and I wait for that dot to show up. You see there's a little dot, little orange dot shows up. That's going to create a connection with that corner. Okay, so I click and then I drag, and so notice it made this connection with that corner. So I click and drag, and then I want to make the connection with or relationship with this edge here, right? So as I do that, I slowly hover over this edge and I see it get highlighted here, and I see that it's making the relationship. So I press click and it makes that relationship. Now I want this to be 4 inches long. Actually, let's take a look. I want it to be 4.32 inches long. So I'm going to go ahead and smart dimension that. So I click on smart dimension, click on that edge, okay, and it's going to be 4.32 inches long. I'll press enter, okay, and I'll zoom out just a little bit, okay, so you guys can see what's going on, okay, and then I'm going to press OK. So I'm going to press the green check mark. So I'm happy with that, and I'm going to exit sketch. Okay, so now I have this new sketch on top. This is sketch number 2, and so with sketch 2 selected, I have it selected. Okay, it's highlighted. I'm going to click on features, and this time I'm going to extrude cut. Okay, so extrude cut's right here. So I'm going to click on extrude cut. Okay, and the default is to cut all the way through. Okay, but I don't want to cut all the way through. I want it to only cut part way through, and let's check how deep that step should be. So from the side view, I can see that this should be 1.7 inches deep. So I'm going to set that to 1.7 inches. And so here, blind means it's just going to cut blindly through. You can do through all, and that'll cut through all. But I'm just going to do blind, and then I'm going to set the dimension, okay, to be, what did I say, 1.72? Let me double check. 1.70, I mean. Okay, so 1.70. All right, and you'll see it gives me the preview here. Okay, so this is the preview, and it's going to cut out that step for me. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So I'll go ahead and click on the green check mark and say OK. And look, it cut out that step for me. So now I have the basic shape that I'm interested in. Okay, so this is the basic shape that I'm interested in. So next step, well, we could make these holes, or we could fillet these corners. I think for my next step, I'm going to go ahead and make these holes. Okay, so let's start with this hole on the top. Now I did notice that I didn't put the dimension for that hole on the top, so we'll just make it approximately 1/2 inch, okay? Maybe a 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Since I didn't put the dimension there, you can make it whatever size looks right to you, okay? But also look that that hole is centered on this top one, okay? It's centered at 2.31 inches in this axis and 1.5 in this other axis. So let me show you how I would put that hole in there. So I'm going to rotate my part around. I'm going to be drawing on this face here. So I'm going to click on, well, first, before I click on sketch, because you see how extrude is highlighted, it's selected. I don't want to sketch on that plane. I want to sketch on this face. So I'm going to press escape. Okay, so that unselects it. Escape is your friend in this program. It'll deselect things for you. So I pressed escape, so now nothing is selected. Okay, now I click on sketch, and this time I'm going to pick up a circle. Now, because I had pressed escape and nothing was selected, when I selected the circle to sketch a circle, now it'll allow me to select a plane or to select a face. And I want to select this face here. Okay, so I'm going to click on this face. Notice how it's highlighted in orange. Okay, so I'm going to select this face. So now everything I draw will be on this face. Okay, I'm going to rotate my part just a little bit. Again, I do that by depressing the scroll wheel and then moving the mouse. Okay, again, I want to draw on this face, and so I'm just going to put it, well, you know, I can pick up the corner, okay, and if I slowly move down the edge of the corner, notice how it marks the center point for me right here. And so if I hover over that and it picks up the center, and then I slowly move my mouse out to this way, it'll keep that center. So it's going to center it for me. Okay, when I'm approximately here in the center, I'll press click and drag my mouse out, and it'll set the radius. Okay, and I think we'll make the radius about 0.75. Okay, about 3/4 of an inch. Okay, and I do want a smart dimension, the distance from the center of this hole to this edge, because if we go back to this drawing, it should be 2.31 inches from the edge. And because I picked up the center on this other edge, it should already be 1.5 in this other axis. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and smart dimension this 2.31. Okay, so I'm going to click on smart dimension, and I'm going to click on this edge, and then I'm going to click on the center of the whole of the circle, and then come out here, click one more time, and it's going to be 2.3. Let's double check what it was. 2.31. 2.31 inches, and I'll press enter, and it'll notice it moved it 2.31 inches, and it's already 1.5 because I know this is 3 inches wide, and I picked up the center of it. So the distance from the center here to that edge is already 1.5. So I'll go ahead and press OK and exit sketch. Okay, and notice it leaves sketch 3 highlighted. Okay, so whatever next action I take, it's going to take it on sketch 3 because sketch 3 is highlighted. If I press escape, now sketch 3 is not highlighted anymore, and I would need to select it. Okay, so with sketch 3 selected, my next step is go ahead and extrude cut out the hole. Okay, so I'm going to go to features and extrude cut. Okay, and I do want it to go through all, so I'll just say through all. Okay, the hole goes all the way through to the bottom, goes through the whole part, and so I can see it looks correct. So I'll press the green check mark and say OK, and then have a look at it, and this looks correct. Okay, the next step that I would do is create this other hole in this face here. And I'll follow the same steps that I did to create this first hole. So first things I'm going to do, since extrude cut 2 is highlighted, I'm going to deactivate that by pressing escape. Okay, so that unhighlights it. Now this will allow me to click on sketch and click on circle and then select the face I want to sketch on. Now this time I want to sketch on this face, right? And I do believe it's going to be centered, so I will pick up the center here on this edge. I'll try to pick up the center and slowly move along it until it picks up, or let me try picking up the center on this edge. Well, before I do that, I guess I need to select the face. So I'll select the face. Okay, so now this face is selected. Now it'll let me pick up the edges and the centers. You see there's a yellow circle there. Let me zoom in on it a little bit. Okay, right there, an orange circle. And so it picked up the center there. And as I go along the face, it'll pick up the center along this other edge as well. And if I come out to approximately where the other center is, there you go. It picks up the center for me, and I'll just click and drag the mouse and it'll draw a circle. Now this circle should be, what is the radius of this circle? Right here in this front view, it tells me the radius of this circle should be 0.6 inches. Okay, so I'll go ahead and click on that 0.6 inches. I'll go ahead and smart dimension this to be 0.6 inches, so I click on smart dimension. Then click on the circle. Then click out here somewhere. And type in 0.6, press enter, and there we go. It's smart dimensioned it to 0.6 inches. And then I'll press OK. And exit sketch. And now I want to cut a hole through this. I want it to go cut all the way through. So I'll sketch 4 highlighted. I click on features, I click on extrude cut, and again I want it to go throughout, so I'll just say through all, and notice it went all the way through to the other end. Okay, and I'll say OK. Okay, so now I have those 2 holes. I have the basic shape of the part that I'm working on. Okay, I have the basic shape, I have these 2 holes. The only thing left for me to do now is to fillet these, round off these corners. We call that fillet. So I'm going to fillet this first corner first. Looks like it has a radius, a ½ inch radius. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to first, notice extrude 3 is highlighted still, and so I need to press escape. When I press escape, it unhighlighted it. If I didn't press escape, it would try to perform the fillet action on that extrude 3, and I didn't want that. So here under features on fillet, okay, I'm gonna put a fillet on the corner, so I click that. And it's going to ask me for the items to fillet, so I'm just going to click this one here, okay, and I said this one's going to be 0.5 inch radius, okay, and you can click on this show a partial preview, and it'll preview the fillet for you so you can see that it looks correct. And I'll go ahead and press OK. And notice how it rounded off that edge for me. It's got a ½ inch radius curvature on there now. Okay, Now I'm going to do this inside corner, round off this inside corner and this other corner on the top. And these ones are the same, so they're 0.2 inch radius. So I'll do them at the same time. Okay, so I'll go ahead and again, fillets 1 is selected, so I'm going to press escape so that it's not active. Okay, and I'm going to click here on fillet. Okay, and the items to fillet, I want to fillet this edge and I want to fillet this inside one. Okay, but I want them to be 0.2. Okay, let's see if it will do it for me. Okay, and the preview for the second one is not really, it just doesn't seem to be coming through. That's okay. Let's see if it works. I'll press OK, and there we go. It did work. It rounded off this top one and this one here, and there we go. I think we're done. We have the basic shape. We have a hole in the middle here, a hole through this top one here, and that's the basic strategy on how to make a part. So again, you want to start with a surface or a plane, draw a profile, extrude the profile, and then smart dimension it, and then work from there. Okay, so again, there's many different ways to make this. This is how I would make it, and I thought I'd do that as a quick review on some SolidWorks basics like extrude, extrude cut, smart dimension, and fillet. Those will be some SolidWorks basics that you need to make sure you have a good handle on. That way, when we start modeling, okay, say we wanted to actually put some loads on this. Say we were going to put some loads and we wanted to measure stress and strain on something. We have to have the geometry first. So the first step in modeling is being able to make the geometry. Okay, so all right. So that's what that's all we'll do for this class. Is just a review. Remember, this assignment will be due on Monday. It's Monday by the end of the day. And all right, we'll see you next time. Thank you.